right.
started.
So once you are in the course and you can get that join code from the chat, what you're going to do is you are going to come down and click the Nearpod live lesson. That's the first thing. We're going to talk about pathways. And so today we are starting our webinar Level Up with Adobe, and we're going to be talking about creating pathways for student creation. And so what you're going to do is you are going to write, draw, or find images, so you can just get them right out of Google, to explain your understanding of what a pathway is in the classroom context. We are Adobe obsessed, and I love all Adobe products completely, everything.
He does.
But Spark really is one of my favorite.
Yes, I kind of took Spark and ran with it.
And I really didn't use it too much. I got it at a training that I went to, and we used it a little bit. But then ever since, Kaylee, you kind of really showed me all the new ways to use it, I have become more and more obsessed.
And
Okay.
y'all can find some cool images in there. You don't have to draw on the Nearpod, because I'm not seeing, has anybody started yet?
I wonder, okay, let's see. I don't know if anyone.
Nope. We're waiting. Gotta participate to get a prize.
There's no real wrong answer.
No,
You
no.
don't see
They're
the
saying
Nearpod?
they don't see the Nearpod. So
Okay.
It's at the very top.
At
You
the
got to
very-
click that link right there.
Yeah.
Are you in the?
So you
Okay,
should,
so if you're in the course, it's
So
there.
you may have to refresh. If you
Oh, yeah.
got into the course before we had published it,
Yeah.
you may want to refresh your
Oh.
screen, and then the Nearpod should show up.
So sorry, we didn't want people to start this earlier today, so we had it unpublished. So that's right. Click the refresh button and you'll see it at the very top. Yay!
okay, let's.
Oh, good. She got it.
No wonder. Okay.
And this is just a fun warm up. The whole session's not a Nearpod. This is just kind of a fun check-in and
we like to
start thinking about.
expose you to different ways of. Oh, they submitted an answer.
Submit an answer. I wonder why mine not. Why isn't it showing up on mine? Did I open it?
Why does it say waiting to sign? Oh wait, you can't go in that way because you're in as a student. Oh,
But
you're
I
in.
went into. I went into the
okay.
Nearpod.
Okay.
And is
Huh.
this?
Wait, I don't.
What did I do wrong?
Maybe that's not the same one.
Yes. All right. Let me double check. There's this one right here.
Well, you wouldn't want, but did you put it in as? I don't know that you can go in that way.
How would I go in as a teacher then?
Wait. Yeah, I guess you're right.
And I just only have one session.
Okay. Yeah. Resume. But they're not, but they're in, hold on, they've submitted an answer. Hold on, I'm gonna go, let me click and see if I'm in. That's interesting. Oh wait, let me hit. Let me see. I'm gonna come in and see. But you know what? I say go on.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
Figure it out.
When we think about pathways in the classroom, I just think about students doing, I think about, oh, look right here. It did work this way.
Oh, yay.
Okay, I guess I have to open it in Schoology. I guess I feel like I've done this in my own classroom and I opened it in your class.
I guess you have to open it through Schoology. Lesson 1.
Okay, let's see. Okay, oh, I like this.
Oh, I like that.
A choice board.
Yay. Oh, somebody's working.
Ooh,
I love
this is beautiful.
I love Draw-Its in Nearpod. They're so cool.
Me too. And I love that people can draw, use text, or they can add images.
That's my happy face with pathways. Hey, where is Kaylee?
Oh, you're right. Kaylee snuck away. Kaylee's like, this isn't working. I'm out.
No, as long as Kaylee's not in labor.
Kaylee is having a baby.
Not today.
Not today. In like 2 weeks. I think tomorrow she's 38 weeks.
Oh, this is going to be a good replay for everybody to watch.
Well, I love your pictures. It looks like we all kind of have the same idea of kind of what a pathway is, that our students are taking a different journey to get to the same content. Okay, so what we have here next is what are flexible pathways for learning. And so this is an article that I thought was just extremely interesting. And so I wanted to share it with you all. And we don't have to spend the whole time reading it. I'm just going to, Kaylee, we're happy you're back. Kaylee?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. I got kicked out.
Oh, well, I'm happy you're back. What I really love about this article, and I'll kind of zoom in, is that it talks, and this happens to kind of every teaching strategy that you can learn, that there is a weaker way to do it that's still better than nothing, but then there's a stronger way to do it. So it's kind of for the more experienced teachers. So I really like this article. It's actually from the Department of Education from Connecticut, but and we don't have to go through every item, but it's just something for you guys to maybe look at if you're wanting to learn more about what pathways are. And I just love that. How are they integrated into our school program and culture? Are the pathways flexible and varied? Opportunities to personalize their experience. So how can you do this in a weaker way, and how could you do this in a stronger way? And so this is just kind of a and it's just an article to give you more information on pathways. And Kaylee, we did get into the Nearpod. We opened just directly in Schoology.
Oh, perfect.
Who did?
And so
Okay.
Kaylee, do you want to talk about Adobe Spark pathways?
Yeah, sure. So I put in like 2 different options of how you can do pathways with Adobe Spark. So that first way is inside of Adobe Spark. It's a pathway in which students decides how he or she wants to complete a task. So there's 3 different options in Adobe Spark. Do you want to create a post? Do you want to create a video? Or do you want to create a page? And so giving the students that pathway of choices of which pathway are they going to go down. The second option is that Adobe Spark can be one of the pathways in which students decide to choose their mastery based off of a pre-assessment. And so I've included both of examples of both of those, and we're going to go through those here in a minute.
And we actually saw that today. Who sent us that? They sent, you have 3 options today. Someone just sent us that from a learning walk today. Was that at Straw?
Oh, it was Megan at Dory.
At Dory.
Mm-hmm. It was one of their options was an Adobe Spark post.
Yeah, so they had to create a movie poster in Adobe Spark, do an interview, or then write about it. But I love that they have that choice. So
yeah,
we are seeing this already in Klein. Okay. So we're going to start with pathways.
Do you want me to share my
screen? Why don't you share? So
okay.
I will stop driving.
Okay. Okay. So this pathways part 1 is really going to be this first one, a pathway in which Adobe Spark chooses how they want to complete the assignment. And so if we click inside this pathways part 1 folder, okay, I've created an Adobe Spark submission choice board. So if we're going to start there and click there, move my images. Okay. And so what this is it's really just a choice board, and students can decide, out of the 3, how are they going to submit their assignment, or how are they demonstrating their mastery? So are they creating a post? And there are 2 different ways you can create a post. You can make it a PNG, which is a static image, or you can make it like a GIF. And so it's going to download as an MP4. Okay. You can create an Adobe Spark video and you can choose to turn it in as a link, or you can be super fancy and you can embed it into Schoology. Same thing with a Spark page. You can just submit the link, or you can submit the embed code to Adobe Spark. And so all of these are clickable. So I'm just gonna click on the next button. But what we've done is we've given you like a basic guide to how to create a post and then how to turn it into Schoology, along with a GIF that goes with it. So you can always take this choice board, which, oops, let me scroll down here. I've given you the link to the template. So if you click here, it's going to actually take you to the slide deck, and you can just click use template, and then you can use it in your classroom and just put that into Schoology and give them what you want them to do. So maybe I want you to give me a summary of the last novel you read. Well, they can choose to do that in a post, in a video, or in a page. And so then they can use this choice board to decide how they want to do it. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this Pathways folder. And I also included a simple Pathways template for you, so you can use this. This is what I used for what I'm gonna show you next. And this is just having learning targets 1, 2, and 3, having resources to go with those learning targets, and then having a product for those targets. So you can just click use template and get this. But I used the template to create this Louisiana Purchase and Lewis and Clark expedition. And so this is just kind of example, just giving you background on what the students are going to do. So if you were at our webinar, 2 weeks ago, when we talked about collaboration, this might look familiar to you because it is the same assignment. I just put it in a pathway form. And so I do want to point out that this is the planning guide. This is not the actual pathway. Like, you would not give this document to students. Okay. But this would be my learning target that we're going over the Louisiana Purchase and the expedition of Lewis and Clark. And so I have resources here. So my student 1 would do this one. My student 2 would do the second resource. And then they can choose together as a group, how do they want to submit their knowledge or demonstrate their mastery? Do they want to do it in a Spark video, or do they want to do it in a Spark page? And I gave them instructions on how to do that. Okay, so if you want any of this stuff, you can click here, and that's going to take you to the curriculum container where we have this housed right here. And so all you have to do is click on the gear and click add to your course.
I love that freedom that it gives the kids to choose, that to say, are they, maybe they're really into making graphics and they can really be abstracted and demonstrate their knowledge with text and images, and almost they could make a flow chart kind of with the page, or they could do a video and have their own voice, or make a video, or the page, make a whole
like website, or it's not a website, but a whole web page. Yeah.
And I would be interested to know which kids pick what and what led, asking them
why
to pick that.
Yeah. So yeah, Thomas, this is it's collaborative, but and it is a jigsaw, because this, student 1 will do the Louisiana Purchase and student 2 will do the Lewis and Clark expedition, and then they come together and share what they know with each other to create that final product. So yeah.
And I could even see this in a math context, that you have 2 separate math problems, and that they have to then, even though they didn't do the same problem, they come together to show how is this type of problem solved with their 2 different examples. I love it.
Well, even in math, they teach them like different ways to solve the problems. And so
Mhm.
I could see one student doing one way, one student doing another,
Mhm.
and coming back together for that.
And then if they're sharing that work, think about all the different types of learners that students, I know I really need to see things for me to get it, but for other students who, need to listen to it, they can just receive that content from each other, which I love.
Yes. And so I just wanted to show you down here is the same things that if you click and go to the curriculum container, you'll find. I just put them in here so that you could see from the student perspective what that looks like. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back to the very beginning, our digital learning level up with Adobe page. Okay, and so now we're moving on to Pathways Part 2. This one's a little more extensive in that Adobe Spark can be one of the pathways that students choose to go on. And so let me just open that up. And so I've got a couple of different things in here. Okay, so I've given you the pathway template that I used to create my pathways. And this is a super basic. So if you click use template, I put stuff in the notes section so that you kind of know what to do, but everything connects to, everything's linked, okay? And then I've also given you pathway examples. Okay, so these are the two pathways that I came up with. And you can decide what's best for you of how you teach it. But I chose 5th grade ELA for this example. And so I decided to go with literary elements. And so there's theme, plot, conflict, and setting. And so what you could do is based on a pre-assessment, see where are the students lacking, where do they need to grow? Let's say it's at setting. So they're going to click on the setting button, and that's going to take them to resources in which they'll learn about setting, and then they'll have to demonstrate their mastery. I'm going to show you this here in a minute. But the other one, this plot elements is actually the essential standard for 5th grade. And so I decided, well, this is when we have already taught plot elements and our students are ready to demonstrate their mastery on plot elements. And so I'm going to give my students a couple of different ways in which they can demonstrate mastery with a comic strip, a video, or a plot diagram. So these are the two different pathways I'm going to show you. Okay, but I put them in here so that you could see them, and I gave you a little more description about it. But I'm going to first start with the plot elements. So remember, this is that essential standard. Okay, and so I've given the just blanket general assignment. This is the way that I would build it in Schoology as a pathway. So this is where they're going to actually demonstrate their mastery. Okay, so students, if you click on this, you're going to have a submit button. Okay. And students are going to decide how do they want to demonstrate their mastery, a comic strip, a video, or a plot diagram. Okay. And so I also included in here the 3 different ways, and these are all just instructions. This is not something that I would actually put in for the students. I put these in here for you so that you could have access to them and to go ahead and save to your drive if you want. I would really just have this assignment that says plot elements, because everything that they need is in this slide deck. So like if they're going to do the comic strip, here's their choices of how they can do that comic strip. And so then they can do an Adobe Spark post. And I've given detailed instructions on how they do that. So that takes them there. Okay.
And someone asked if they can use these resources in their
Oh my
classroom.
God, yes. please use these resources. That's why I created them for
And
you
let
to
us know
use
how
them.
it goes. That, if you
Yes.
use something, we want to, send us an email, tweet it out. We would love to see how it went.
Or if you need help with it, feel free to contact us. So this is the plot elements one. I'm going to just go into the plot diagrams. You can also see like there's also a couple of different choices. And I made sure that there's one where students can actually create by hand, especially like when it comes to drawing. Some kids just love to draw. So I gave them that option to just do a pencil paper activity. Okay. Let me go back.
And even if you, I think I only saw maybe one elementary when we asked where people were from, but even if you were not in a one-to-one, not a one-to-one campus, if you have 12 devices, you could ask your students, well, which way are you going to do it, and kind of divide up the devices. And if more than 12 want to do the Adobe Spark, you can then make it into a station for that activity. And so this is definitely possible, even not in a one-to-one situation. You will just use blended learning and use the station rotation model to allow your students to use the devices.
Yeah, that's a great point, Emily. And I think you'll see that in the literary elements one. So the way that I put this in is I have and this is how I would put it in to Schoology. I would leave these folders here. So let me just, let me duplicate this tab real quick. And I'm going to go back to this example where we have the literary elements here. So again, based on the pre-assessment is where the kids would go. So they could go to theme, plot, setting, or conflicts, and that's the folder that they go into. So I'm just going to go into theme. And so if we look at this example and I click on theme, I have 3 different resources to teach me about theme. So I've got a Nearpod, and I've given you the preview link so you can look at it, but I've also given you the editable link that you can add to your library and make it your own, or add to it, take away, whatever you need to do so that you can actually put it into Schoology. And then there's a teacher station where we are either on or off devices, depends what the station is. But in this one, I did an I do, we do, you do task card. And then there's a theme game as well. And so the way that looks in Schoology is here's that Nearpod. And again, this is I've put this in so you can see as a student what this looks like. Okay. So here's our teacher station. And I love this because we recently purchased Kami as a district. So you should be able to click open with Kami.
All the pro features, it's been pushed to every kid.
Yes.
So they already have the extension ready to go. You just need to make sure you as a teacher have the extension.
Yes. And what's great is the kids can collaborate on Kami. And so each kid doesn't need their own device either. But what I love about this is we can do an I do as a teacher, and I can annotate on this. I can add text box. I can draw all over it. I can highlight things. I can do any kind of markups I want, make comments.
And teachers, and students can also do on the comments, click on that, Kaylee, because there's video. They can add sound and video and all kinds of stuff.
So your kids who aren't very good with typing, they can do the voice comment or the video comment. And so maybe with theme right here, instead of actually typing something, they could do one of these comments.
Oh yeah, think about modifications for dyslexic students, for your EL students, all kinds of stuff.
And then we would go into a we view. And of course, you don't have to do it in Kami. These are things that you could print out and do. You can laminate and then have them write all over it and do that handwritten too, if you don't want to use the devices, because I know sometimes we can we kind of do over like too much technology, and sometimes we want to scale back and do a hands-on. So this is a way that we could do it hands-on, is just print them, laminate them, and write over them with dry erase markers. Okay. And so then there's a theme game that's really cute. I found this one in the curriculum container. And so what we want to show you is the show what you know, because this is where they get to pick. Let me go back to that pathway. So once I've completed my 3 things here, my 3 resources, I can click on the graduation hat, and that takes me to where I show what I've learned. And I have 2 choices. I can create a meme or I can create a video. Okay. So if I click here on meme, it's going to take me to instructions to create that meme. Okay. If I click on,
Was it?
on the wrong thing.
Yeah, there it is.
If I click on create a video, it's also going to take me to instructions on creating a video. This one just happens to be both in Adobe Spark. Not all of them are like that. Some of them are using Google Docs, Storyboard that. So they're using different things. I just picked one that both had Adobe Spark. But I can click on this little Schoology button and it will open up to the actual assignment so that I can click submit and submit my assignment. So I've given them instructions in the assignment, but I've also given instructions in the pathway as well. So it's in both places. Okay. Let's see. So I know that's like a quick and dirty of those 2 pathways. Are there any questions about the pathways and how I have them set up? Because I know pathways sometimes can be a little tricky when we think about doing them in Schoology or in a Google slide deck.
And I did add the picture. I quickly added it from my phone of what Megan saw.
Oh,
our
yes.
boss. I added it to the Pathways Part 2
Okay.
that we just took today. So she saw that was happening. And so this is just a teacher that was using Pathways in her classroom or his classroom. I don't know if it was a girl or boy, but the create a movie poster is where you see the Adobe Spark. And so that my guess is that probably would have been a post.
Yes, I think she said it was a post. Yep. Yeah.
So I don't see any questions in the chat. Are there any questions on what the 2 pathways are? Do you think you would use this? Is this something that you think you might use in your classroom?
Okay, Janelle says yes, her students will love this.
Yay.
Yeah, the GIF option. So yeah, take a minute to really explore that pathway. The Literary Elements has a lot of resources in them. Some of them I pulled from the curriculum container. Some of them I created. But yeah, let me just kind of expand these. So you see that they all kind of follow the same structure where there's the first 3. So you have your Nearpod that does the basic teaching. You have a teacher station. And the way that I would do that is the teacher station is not always going to be second. You know, like I may have some kids who are doing theme, they're working on their Nearpod, but I have the conflict and relationship people with me at the teacher station. Okay. And then I have other students working on the, maybe they're at the plot elements like mid-check. Okay. So they're all working on something different, and I'm going to rotate that teacher station and call them to come see me, because I do want to have interactions as the teacher and have that small group to see are they actually understanding?
Mhm.
Okay. And so then there's always some sort of like check or a game. And then there's the show what they know. Okay. So they all follow the same structure.
Oh, Claudia, I can't wait to see them. Claudia just shared that tomorrow she's going to share some of her presentations her students made in Adobe Spark. So I can't wait.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
I can't wait to see
yay.
that.
I love this
Cool.
because I love it's all about choice. It's choice
Yes.
within Adobe Spark. It's choice within the activity. So students really are deciding, I mean, from these, and this was something they asked when I interviewed for this position. They said, what is a no tech, or what was it? Low tech,
Low tech,
high tech? And I had to think about, and that's something you can think about with your kids too. And I thought, wow, I never really thought about it that way, that every single one of our teams, everything we do can be done in a low, no tech, a mid tech, or are we saying mid tech? Is that what's up the wording? And high tech, that's more advanced. And so that's something that you can kind of do with your kids as well. Think about how to break down the activity so that when you do use technology, it's being used in the most effective and enjoyable way possible, and not a filler. No fluff.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, is that we want to make sure that when you are using technology, it's not as a babysitter or a filler. It's really for that creation piece or that collaboration piece.
Because your kids are going to love it so much more. And you are too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about so many times we do walk in and we see they're just doing Lexia, or they're just doing, and there's times for that.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's all you're doing in the classroom is just them playing a game and they're not doing that creation piece, then I think we're missing a big way for students to take more ownership of their learning, but to be more engaged and more active participants than passive.
And as you reflect on your use of technology in your classroom, reach out to your digital learning specialist, because they really, going in and helping teachers is our favorite thing. And so working on projects. When a teacher says, I really want to do this, but kind of what ideas do you have? That is super exciting. And so please reach out to your digital learning specialist, and they will help you take any of your activities and just work with you. That we're just here. We are the fun part of education. I feel that, it's no evaluation, all fun, that using technology to help kids learn and create and collaborate.
And so, like Emily's saying, we love to come in and help. So if you're looking at this pathway and you're getting super overwhelmed, please reach out to us, because we can help you build the pathway. We can help you find those resources. We can help you do all of that. Or if you have a digital learning specialist on your campus that's there, more than just one day a week, then reach out to that person. They can help you.
And I know what I'm doing tomorrow with the teacher is, it's a science teacher who wants to do something. And so she sent me her lesson plan for all next week. And she said, tomorrow, let's talk about what are our options. What could we do? And so you can just go in with that and say, this is what we're doing. This is what I'm doing in my classroom. And what are your suggestions and what ideas do you have? We all have specialties, things that we love, that we know really well to support kids. But okay, we better jump to our exit ticket. I can talk forever.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me say real quick that right now these pathways are not in the curriculum container, but I will be adding them to the curriculum container here shortly. Okay. And the way you find it.
Yeah, so I say take the time to show them, because this really is cool. Does anyone know where we're headed? Because this is so awesome.
Those that have been with us before probably do.
But we're adding stuff constantly. And I say we're adding stuff. Kaylee is adding stuff constantly. Mine is very minimal. in here. My name is on stuff because I made some folders, but really Kaylee has, so I'm taking credit.
I've been filling the folders. So you'll go into the curriculum container and you'll click on resources. And then you just scroll down to the last folder, this teacher, student, and family supports, because we support teachers. Okay. And we're at these classroom resources. And we have all of these resources here about collection of exit tickets and graphic organizers, playlist and choice boards, all of this. But where you really want to go, okay, is this high quality teaching activities. And we are going to put them all inside of this Adobe Spark activities folder. Okay, so there's that Louisiana Purchase one, and then they'll be added here at the bottom. Okay, the 2 pathways from today will be added at the bottom.
Okay. And I just saw Karen added something today. And so there's
yes, let's take a look at that.
Yeah, I've just started working on that. Sentence stems, they're just kind of generic. I think I've put a few in the very first one, remember? But those are just discussion boards that anyone can take and, just, replace the fill in the blank there with how would you define and pick whatever vocabulary word or something you're working on, or who was, when did, anyway, they're going to increase in rigor as those folders go down to the last one is a creation area. So we're just starting to build that. So
yeah, keep checking back in this classroom resources folder because we're constantly adding things, even inside of these actual folders, we're adding things. I know that I'll be adding to playlists and choice boards and graphic organizers.
And talking about playlists, one of my favorite thing in student choice, getting kids to pick which graphic organizer or activity from the choice. If you just give them 3 and say, you decide which graphic organizer you're going to use, as opposed to giving them the graphic organizer. And so there's so much you can do pulling from content from this collection.
Okay, so we're going to get to our exit ticket before we run out of time here.
As we have to spin for prizes.
Yeah, we do. So our exit ticket is here at the bottom, or close to the bottom. Oh, somehow it clicked on resources. I guess it wants me to talk about resources. So in that resources folder, I've given you a ton of resources, including the link to the book of 40 Ways to Inject Creativity into Your Classroom with Adobe Spark. This is an amazing book. I love this book. It's where I get a lot of my ideas about how to use Adobe Spark. But it's written by Ben Forta and Monica Burns. And they are both fabulous educators that really instill creativity into their classrooms. Okay. And then we've also given you a pathways template that we got from Personalized Learning. And so it's a little more in depth, but you can click on the template and get the template if you want to do that. So this is just really for planning purposes. It's not to give to students, but it kind of goes through everything of the planning. And then she's also given, Kessler is the program coordinator for Personalized Learning. And she gave an example here. It's linked in right here so you can see how they filled it out. Okay. So after the resources is this exit ticket, which looks like somebody has already responded to. So good for you.
Yay!
Here we go.
And I actually made this in Adobe Spark that I had so much fun that I have started making all of my discussion boards in Spark because it just looks so much more engaging than just typing the text right in. And so this is the way that you can use it as well, just yourself as a teacher.
Yeah, I love it because then you can add like cool fonts. You can make certain words stand out. It's just a lot better than just typing. Okay, so now that we've discussed using pathways and student creation in Adobe Spark, what ideas do you have to apply this to your own classroom? And And remember, if you need more help with Adobe Spark, that is in our level 1 webinar, which we pre-recorded.
Mhm.
Okay, and so we will show you where you can find that level 1. So if you're just like completely lost and you're like, I have no idea what you guys are talking about with Adobe Spark and how you use it, it's very user friendly. And you can watch that quick webinar about using Adobe Spark. I'm going to hit refresh here.
I think so. I'm seeing student choice twice. And I think one of the biggest questions that I had as a department head, a specialist, even still as a program coordinator is how do you get buy-in? How do you get buy-in from kids? How do you get them to do these activities and be happy doing them? And I think student choice really is the answer, that they are deciding. I mean, even with my toddler, asking if I just say, this is what you're having for dinner, I'm not very successful. But if I offer 2 different things to them, suddenly he feels like he has some power and he's making choice, and then he eats dinner. He picks one food. And I feel like kids are the same way, that when you offer them some choices, they feel like they're owning it. They're getting to make that choice. And you get that buy-in from them.
Now, I thought it was so funny. My doctor said the same thing when Evelyn turned about like 1 or 18 months. And he was like, oh, make sure you offer her choice. And I thought, coming from an education standpoint, like that's that's just natural for us. We offer choice. But I thought it was funny that it, also applied to my toddler.
And not only are they buying in, but then they're really able to show what they like. If they're showing it in the way that they're most comfortable, that product that they're creating is going to be even better because they feel like it's what they are strong at. What do you guys think? That unsure about the amount of content in Power Math, that there's so much content to cover, because we hear that in other subjects too, but there's just so much content. How can you have time to apply something like this?
Well, I really think like when they are creating something, they're using much more than just the content you're going over. Like you're hitting multiple things. You're also hitting multiple content areas when you create something along the lines of an Adobe Spark. But yes, with Power Math, that's there's a lot in Power Math because they're basically filling in the gaps that students have. And that does get tricky. And I know, Melissa, you're at Strzok, is that right? So I would definitely sit down with Chris Marshall, who is fantastic. And he could help you with how to add creation using Adobe Spark or Google Drawings, whatever, as long as they're creating into your Power Math. And if he is struggling, then one of us can come over there and meet with y'all as well and kind of brainstorm some ideas of how we can implement this into your Power Math class.
And I've actually worked a lot with math in French elementary. And I'll just say real quick, one thing that they did that I think I talked about in the last webinar is just making the video right in the moment. So as they're solving the problem, they're doing the video as they solve the problem. So they have a Chromebook and they solve one part of the problem and they write it out and they take a picture. And then they solve the next part of the problem and they take a picture. And so then all they do is they go back, they quickly upload those videos and they just talk through it. And they did this in one class period.
Melissa, were you at our last webinar? Yes, okay, because we have that one math example in here. Let's see.
And what's really great is that because you have students that are different levels, and even in every class,
Oh, did it?
the activity can really be customized to their need. Yeah, this one here.
This is the one that had the task cards. So they did task card A and B and C, which would be great for you with Power Math because you do have kids ranging from different levels. So you could have like a 3rd grade level here, a 5th grade level here, a 6th grade level here. But then they all are contributing to the discussion board.
So that's one option, but we can come out and talk to you as well and reach out to Chris Marshall and okay.
Yeah, because Chris is good.
He is good. I saw him today when I was at Struck. Oh wow. We've got lots of comments here, but I think we need to probably roll. Yeah, we need to spin.
It is 8:35.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing so that you can share your screen, Karen.